Cavalier fans, do me a favor, take a deep breath, and let's all calm down. I know we have not had the start to the season that we anticipated. I know there's been injuries. I know there's been blown games. I know there's been poor performances. I know that we have not started through 6 games how we wanted to start. Now, it's a small sample size. The season just kicked off. There's been a lot of new rotations. There's been a lot of players getting acclimated together. There's been a lot of players in and out of not only the starting rotation, but the rotation in general. But I've seen a lot of division recently, whether it's on Twitter, whether it's on YouTube, live streams, posts, quote tweets, replies. And I think it's all overblown. I think that there are valid arguments around the discussion of the Cavaliers right now. We're 2-4, bottom of the barrel in the Eastern Conference. We're losing to teams that we are definitely better than. We've had some good performances in our wins, but it's been, to say the least, a mixed bag. And there has been more negatives than positives. Let's just group everything in together. Injuries are negatives. Playing down to our opponents is a negative. Losing to teams who we're clearly better than, the Indiana Pacers last night, is a negative. Have we seen some positives? Sure. We've seen Emoni Bates get minutes. We've seen Craig Porter Jr. play. We've seen guys get integrated to a certain extent, like Max Strus, have decent games. I'm here to tell you that I have the talking point and the solution that the majority of the Cavalier fan base will agree upon. And that is why I am here saying calm down. I am very critical of this team. If you follow the Cleveland Pulse on YouTube, if you follow the Cleveland Pulse on Twitter, you will know I am the first person to be critical. I am the first person to be on the negative side. However, I do give appreciation when I see good performances. I do give appreciation when I see good coaching decisions. I try to be fair and well-rounded. People don't really like that because they would prefer somebody to completely love everything or completely be a hater, only see the negatives. And that's fine. But the mission, the values of the Cleveland Pulse is to be not only realistic, but actually make sense in what you're saying. Limit the reactionary talk, limit optimism on one side, limit pessimism all the way to the other side. Not to always be in the middle, but if you're going to take a stand, have it make sense. With that all being said, the reason I'm here shouting from the mountaintop about the fan base having to calm down, the analysts having to calm down, the critics having to calm down is that, and this will sound cliche, this will sound like a cop-out, but just let me make the entirety of the argument. The regular season does not matter. And I know that this is the consensus around the National Basketball Association. I get it. Even your best teams, your best rosters, they don't always put their best foot forward during the regular season. Some people have said this has ruined the sport. I see your arguments. Some people say, well, it's still pretty competitive, even though, you have more people making the playoffs than other if you consider the play-in game to be a part of that. Another topic that has arguments from both sides. However, there are some concrete and main goals for this roster and this organization this year. Let's preface it like this. Making the playoffs is a prerequisite for this organization roster this season. You were in a home playoff series last year. Nobody should be talking about this. Now, if you want to come from the angle, this team right now doesn't look good enough to make it to the playoffs, that's fine. But the reality of the situation is that there's a very low chance, unless injuries sustain all year long, that this team is missing a playoff series. And let's even say you get your way with that. it's even a lower percent chance that they're not going to be in the play-in game and likely squeeze their way in. So with all of that being said, that shouldn't even be discussed. And if this roster makes the playoffs, we will be coming back to this video in late April or May or whenever, June, and we will be having bigger discussions because there will be a lot more topics to talk about if this roster does not make the playoffs. Promise you that. So let's put that away for a minute. What happened last year? We all saw it. Bullied by the New York Knicks. Gentleman's sweep. We played one good game out of 5 in totality. Didn't put up a lot of fight. Not a lot of physicality. The lights were too bright. Donovan Mitchell kind of shrunk into a shell. Darius Garland, first real taste of the playoffs. Evan Mobley still young. Put that in the rearview mirror. However, it's still back there. You could still see it. And with that being said, all this regular season talk about they don't look very good, they don't perform well this night, blah, blah, blah. It does not matter. It matters to us because we're fans. It matters to us because we like to cover the team and talk about the team. But let's take the huge picture, 30,000 feet from the top look. This team could be the 6th seed all year long, not have home court advantage in a playoff series, and they could go into an opposing team's home court, win games, win a playoff series, advance to the second round. Do you think we're going to be talking about when we lost to Indiana in the first game of the in-season tournament if that's the case? Absolutely not. That's the goal. Winning a playoff series is a goal. I could care less how you do it. I could care less if you're the last team in the play-in, you win the first game, you win the second game, and then you win the playoff series. It really does not matter to me. And then you want to know what's after that? Once you win the first playoff series, okay, now you're playing with house money. You'd really like to win the second playoff series. Am I going to say that's a prerequisite? I personally think that you have to make some waves in the Eastern Conference this year to really solidify your role and your stature in the conference. But I'm not going to say 2 playoff series win is a required or the whole thing's getting blown up, because that's not the reality of the situation. And I get it. What happens in November might be foreshadowing of what could go wrong later in the season. So you could be up in arms about it. You could have your opinions, but I think everybody can agree that what happens now, if you see better results than you did last year in the playoffs, it is not going to matter. So, everybody, let's take a deep breath, pump the brakes a little bit. I think they've played pretty poorly so far through 6 games. I get the injuries. I get everything in totality. It's been bad. It's been ugly basketball. Not all their fault. You could have a nuanced approach and opinion on this and not have to stand in your corner and be like, this is this and this is this and or that is that. That's fine. I get it. There's a lot of intelligent fans out there, but there's also a handful of people who just like to stir the pot. And people could do what they want at the end of the day. But I'm here to tell you that through 6 games, while the Cavaliers sit at 2-4, this has no meaning to what happens in the 2023-2024 NBA playoffs. That's all I have to say. And I know that a lot of people can agree with that. I know that the goal is known. The goal is known, but we just have to reset and actually think about what the true goal is. The true goal is not to be the 1 seed. I could care less if we were the 1 seed. I could care less if we have a home playoff series. See what that did for us last year? Nothing. Did absolutely nothing for us. You win 1 game at home, congratulations. I could sincerely care less about all of that. I want to win a playoff series. I want to perform well when it matters the absolute most. And I want to shock some people. And I want to do it the right way. And I think that this roster, this organization, has a chance to do that. So I can't ask for much more than that fact at this current given time. I appreciate every one of you guys for watching this video. If you liked it, if you want to hear more, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, comment down below. How do you feel about my approach to the situation? Is it good? Is it bad? We'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.